So hello there, welcome back to another episode. This time we're going to be looking at GME instead of AMC. So GME is seeing good things today, honestly. GME's price is up by about $12.95 today, which is a big win. It's up by about 5.8%. And if we even look over to after hours so far, don't get me wrong, we're very early into it, but so far we can see that we are still in the green for that, up by about 1.76%. So the momentum is still building after hours, is fantastic. AMC, GME, today we saw a massive win for both of them, and it is good to see. We already know that the patterns do reflect each other sometimes, and actually a lot of the time, and this is what we are now seeing for GME in the past 5 days. So this pattern is looking quite similar to AMC. Obviously there are some differences, are bound to be. There's different fundamentals behind the company, different catalysts, all that kind of stuff, but we're seeing similar patterns with both of them when we look at the past 5 days. So from what I can tell, and obviously guys, this is not financial advice, I am not a financial advisor, but in my opinion what we are seeing is a big sell-off after this, green that we have seen for some time. So to look at how long this has been going on, we're going to go out to the past 1 month chart. So from early May, about the 12th onwards, we saw this price of about 148. As you guys will know, the price built up to highs up here, past $326. Now recently the price has been falling. Some people are saying that this is potentially a short tactic to get people to want to sell out of their positions, as the price has continued to drop now by quite a large amount over the past 2 or 3 days. Well, if that was the case, it clearly hasn't worked, as I'm sure some paper hands have probably sold, but the majority of people from the forums, from what I can tell, are continuing to buy this stock if they do believe in it. And I think that is one of the main reasons why we are finishing up green today. I think it is good. So let's look at the situation that we are seeing for the price of GME today, because it is also quite fantastic. It's amazing what happened, because you know what, from this point here at about 10 o'clock, things weren't looking too good. We saw a big sell-off which brought us to about 12 o'clock, and from 12 o'clock onwards, we actually bounced back from this. We saw some green, and now we are finishing up the day at 233. So fortunately for us, we did not drop below the $200 range, and we actually finished up at 233, which is really quite decent. So again, this is not going to be an in-depth video, this is going to be a quite quick one, giving some of my thoughts on what we are seeing with GME today, but I think that is good. I'm very happy that we are seeing this one in the green. Let's have a look at the calls and puts for GME this week. So things not looking too good over here. I don't think it's too big of a deal overall, but this is what we are seeing. So obviously for today, we are seeing in the money calls at 5,300 only, and out of the money calls at 103,603. So this is something which I spoke about with AMC. We've seen a little bit less of a bad situation, but similarly not the best situation, where we could have had a lot more calls in the money. And obviously guys, I do not give financial advice ever, because I am not a financial advisor and I am not a professional. But if I was buying calls, and this is all I'm going to say, if I was buying calls, we don't actually have calls in the UK, but there you go. If I was buying them, I wouldn't buy these ridiculous numbers. If I was looking to get big gains on this stock, I personally would buy the stock. I wouldn't buy any CFDs, which we do in the UK. I wouldn't buy any calls or anything like that, and that is just my opinion. I know there is a potential to make a lot more money through those methods, but I think that the risk is also there. I think with these stocks anyway, they are potentially going to short squeeze, but they are already risky stocks, and just adding calls and things like that to the whole situation, it just creates, a more difficult situation. And especially when we are seeing these call options so high, then the price gets driven down, and obviously now we have so many calls out of the money. Now, don't get me wrong, guys, it's not all bad, because we don't have too many puts in the money as well. 17,392 puts in the money, so obviously more than calls, but actually we still do have the majority of puts being out of the money, with 56,214 out of the money. So it could be worse. Obviously it's not the best situation that we are seeing, but let's hopefully get the price up into next week, and again, that could leave us in a much better situation. But that's what we are seeing, that is the numbers that we are seeing. Let's have a look at the amount of interest that we are seeing today for GME. So this information is coming from WSBtrackers.com, and obviously, as you may be able to tell, this is the momentum within the past 24 hours of GME on Wall Street Bets. So again, there are other sources for this, but this is what we are seeing here from them. They say that obviously we have had decent, involvement and interaction with this stock over the day. Obviously, it has been declining throughout the day. That's not too big of a deal. we are still seeing quite a unified approach, and we are obviously seeing this in the price of the stock, as the majority of people are still holding and actually buying more. So that is good, and it definitely is going to help the cause potentially if we are bound for a short squeeze. And again, over the past few months, we are seeing daily contributions fall, but that is not a bad thing, as some people are going to make it out to be. So I saw this on the board for both GME and AMC today. This is on StockTwits, and again, it may not matter, I don't think it does, but this is a point that a bear did use. A bear actually used a point that the message volume is dropping. Well, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, and it doesn't necessarily indicate anything towards the stock at all. Most people already know the score, and this is a sort of situation where not really much has changed with either of the stocks. We're in a point now on a lot of the forums where people are potentially trying to distract people with other stocks and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of people are just a bit fed up of it, and they already know what is going to go on with these stocks. So I think it does make sense that a lot of people are keeping their eyes off the forums at the moment. Let's have a look at what Ihor from Twitter is saying. So you guys will remember Ihor from Twitter, right, from before. He posted 23 hours ago giving a short interest figure for GME down here. So short interest yesterday was 3.40 billion, which is quite a high number to be honest. And again, this has clearly actually been quite a large amount of the free float. So we can see 19.47% short interest of float. We've seen 16.26% S3 short interest of float, and again only 0.79% fee, which isn't too big. But again, it's not the biggest deal either. As well as people are still holding the stock, you know, the fee to hold the stock for the shorts, or at least the fee to borrow the stock for the shorts, is still there. Whereas for us, the fee to hold the stock is clearly not apparent. We don't have to pay for holding the stock, they have to pay for shorting the stock. So there you go. So that's the data that he has published yesterday, but he posted something a bit more interesting up here, and this is also coming from 22 hours ago from his Twitter page. He says that the squeeze score for AMC, GME and Clover apparently as well, so Clover being in there is interesting. Some people are going to like that, some people are not, but there we go. He says that this is a 100 out of 100. Now again, this is coming from his Twitter, don't quote me on this, but he says that it is 100% likely for these three stocks to squeeze, and he has apparently changed the metric from 1 in 10 to 1 to 100, and I think that is a good deal because let's face it, you can get more accuracy with larger numbers, but there we go. So he apparently has a 100% likely potential for these three stocks to squeeze, so you have it there. And he also notes that Tesla's score from him is a 23 out of 100. So you can really find some interesting stuff on Twitter when it comes to, opinions. And Ihor has given some opinions before. People, generally speaking, do listen to what he says. So it is good. You should probably give him a follow on Twitter. And whilst you're there, you know who else you should give a follow on Twitter? I am going to mention it. You should definitely give me a follow on Twitter. So here it is, guys. We literally just set this up quite recently. So we do not have many followers. I would appreciate it if you could follow us. Again, we do like to talk about stocks all the time. So thank you for watching this video. I thought I'd just give you a quick update on some of my thoughts on GME. Honestly guys, I am still bullish on GME, I'm still bullish on AMC. They do have a lot of potential in my eyes. Obviously Mr. Ihor does think the same, and the data does not lie. This is costing the shorts a lot of money, we already know this, and it cannot go on forever in my opinion, but that is just what I believe. Thank you for watching, I'll see you soon, goodbye.